Thanks for the support as a channel member, Anna Frederick Samuelson. Before we get into today's video, I just wanted to say a massive thank you for all of the support in the first couple of episodes in this series. It has been utterly absurd and I love it. I asked you if there are 1,000 likes on the first episode, and as of right now, it's had 2,500. We got the second episode out. Between the two of them, they've already had around 30,000 views. I'm recording this at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. That's between two videos, about 30,000 views in what, 18, 19 hours, which is absolutely ridiculous. Pushing 3,500 likes between them. That is incredible support, and I thank you very much for it. Please keep the ball rolling as well. If you're excited for episode 3, please make sure you do leave that nice big thumbs up. If we could hit 1,000 likes again on this video, that would be incredible. I can't offer you a second video today because I'm going to the fireworks later. But as I've said repeatedly in the past, it is the best thing you can do to help support a new series, a video that you like. It really does hit that YouTube algorithm in the face if you leave a nice big thumbs up on it. So really appreciate those of you who've gone and done that. If you are new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe, turn your notifications on, all that good stuff. And of course, there is a link down in the description as well where you can buy the game for less than 30 quid. Don't need to say any more than that. Let's go do some Football Manager. Hello and welcome to part 3 of my FM20 beta save with Manchester United. I'm Kevin. Coming up on this episode, we have a couple of games for you. We're finally getting into 2 games per episode on this series. We're going to have Tottenham at home in the league, our first big test in the league so far this season. And we're also going to show a Europa League game away against Braga. Since you were last with me, we have played a bunch of matches. It looked a little bit touch and go whether we were going to stick with this tactic. I know I was talking about it a lot in the last episode, but 2 draws against Everton and Sheffield United, 0-0 draws where, I mean, to be fair, if you look at the match stats, which is not showing us, how do we see match stats? If you look at the match stats, we were utterly dominating the game, 66% possession, 22 shots against their 2. And then it was a similar tale against Sheffield United, 71% possession against them, 16 shots against their 4. We just weren't scoring goals. And I think that's going to be a little bit of a problem of our season. We need that striker. We did go on and win a couple of matches. We beat Burnley 3-0 with goals from Martial, POGBA and Maguire. We beat Bournemouth 2-0 with James Rodriguez and an own goal. And then we've rotated the team a little bit for these games against, Alexandria in the Europa League, where Greenwood picked up a couple of goals and Pereira scored an absolutely stunning free kick. Can we see that? If we do have to go into the game to see the free kick, because it was a good one, and it's not the only one he's scored. I've got a couple of Andreas Pereira free kicks to show you. Clearly, we have a little bit of a free kick specialist on our hands, but he opened the scoring in this game on 7 minutes and then also provided the assist for Victor Lindelof with another free kick. But that was a good goal from Pereira. And then I think he did it again against Millwall, if I remember rightly. Another goal from Mason Greenwood. Daniel James scoring in that game as well, as we really, really rotated the team, as you can see just there. Hopefully it's going to... Can we see the match? Football Manager? I have clicked you. Are you? Don't tell me you're going to crash again. 1 moment, please. There we go. It didn't crash. It just took forever. But Pereira's goal against Millwall, if we have a look at this one as well, I think it was the same again. It was another free kick. And as you can see, another game where we dominated possession, 75% of the possession against Millwall. We're clearly very good at keeping hold of the ball under this tiki-taka system. Pereira can hit a free kick. But the issue we've got is goals. Mason Greenwood's our top scorer at the moment with 3 goals. None of them are in the league. He's had a few appearances off the bench in the league, but started those 2 games. So he's scoring goals against lesser opposition. But for a game against the likes of Tottenham, I don't think we're going to get 75% possession against Tottenham. And it's whether these forwards are going to get goals for me. Martial only has 1 all season, as do Rashford, Rodriguez and Gnabry. Just 1 goal each between them. We have tweaked the attack a little bit to try and generate more goals, get Gnabry more involved further forward. We previously had Rashford as the inside forward on attack and Gnabry as the inverted winger. We've swapped them over. I want to see if getting Gnabry up there alongside Martial makes a little bit more of a difference. But I don't know. I'm starting to think Mason Greenwood, if he keeps scoring goals against the other teams, might be breaking into the Premier League team as well. If he's going to score goals, I don't care how old he is, we'll get him in the team. And it does need to be a priority for January when we've got a little bit of money to spend. But certainly, if not January, then next summer, we need to go and get a world-class striker. If we're going to be a team that can win the Premier League, we need to go and sign a world-class striker. It's the missing piece of the puzzle from what I can tell at the moment. So the team for the Tottenham game, we've got De Gea in goal, a back four of Gaia, Maguire, Lindelof and Wan-Bissaka, Pogba and McTominay in midfield, Rashford, Rodriguez and Gnabry behind Martial up front. Let's get into the game. So, match preview has us in excellent form, them in fair form. Well, Tottenham are fourth in the league. We're one of only 2 unbeaten teams in the Premier League at the moment. We know we had that very easy start, and this is our first big test, but it's just us and Liverpool who are undefeated. But we do have those couple of draws that do adversely affect our league position a little bit, because obviously they're results that we needed to go out and get. We needed to win them. That's what I'm trying to say. Right, we are favourites here, wowzers. Yeah, pick up where you left off last time out. Although, to be fair, I don't know if that's talking about the last game we played, which was against Millwall, when half of these players weren't involved. Or it could be the last Premier League game when they were all involved, and we did well in that as well. So it doesn't really matter which way around it is. We've been playing well recently, and we've got a free kick through Rodriguez and Maguire heads just over. We have just 2 ever-present players so far, and that's Wan-Bissaka and Maguire, the two real-life signings from the summer, are very much the best players in their positions that we've got at our disposal. So they're not really being rotated just yet. They'll have to be as the season goes on, but at the moment we're not really rotating them. And Paul Pogba, our captain, puts us 1-0 up after 11 minutes. It's his second goal of the season. It's a really poorly defended corner from Tottenham. If we have a look at this from the other angle, the corner comes in. What on earth are Tottenham doing? Letting the ball bounce. I mean, just on the edge of the 6-yard box, roughly in line with the penalty area, with the penalty spot, and they're letting the ball bounce. It serves them right that they've conceded a goal there. That was ridiculous. And Pogba wasn't going to miss. He's put us 1-0 up. And now why have we got 2 lots of match stats on the screen? That's a bit weird. Let's swap that for latest scores. Now we just need to do our keeping hold of the ball and not letting them have a kick thing that we've been doing against all these other teams. And hopefully not concede. This is where, for the first time, we have been training a fluid counter-attacking system since that under-23s game back in episode 1. We have got it there. We haven't used it yet, but I am thinking this might be a game where, with 20-25 minutes to go, if it's still 1-0, maybe we switch to a counter-attacking system. But then part of me looks at those stats and says we're controlling possession. We've had 56% of the possession. Spurs have only had 2 shots. Why would we invite them to come at us when they're not really attacking at the moment? So it's a difficult balancing act between being happy to maintain the status quo as it is, but also being alert to the fact they're going to have to go after this game at some point. And that's the moment where we need to switch into counter-attacking so that we're not sort of playing a system that isn't going to work against them attacking at us. Gnabry beats his man here, crosses, tries to find a red shirt, doesn't manage to find one, but it bounces clear to Pogba, who scores an absolute stunner from the edge of the area. Paul Pogba is a big game player, apparently. He's been one of our better players this season already on average rating, and he's decided to grab this game by the scruff of the neck today, released by the fact that he's got McTominay alongside him. This is the first Premier League game I think he's played alongside McTominay rather than Goretzka, but McTominay was excellent in the 2 games in the League Cup and the Europa League, and playing him alongside Pogba does release Pogba to go a little bit further forward. So I am wondering, as much as I like Leon Goretzka, and I really liked him in the beta last year when I had him at Bayern Munich, I don't know if he's the best player to be alongside Pogba if we want to get the best out of Pogba by letting him explore a little bit further forward. So, yeah, perhaps that one was just a silly signing. Is now the time to switch to the counter-attacking? Because this is where we can bring Goretzka on for Rodriguez, stick McTominay in there. It's just, are we going to throw everything away? I hope we don't. But if we stick McTominay back there, and then, no, not do that. We want to let Pogba just go and do Pogba things. So he can... Do we want him to be advanced? Or... I think we'll leave him on support, but McTominay can sit in there and just kick at people as they try and rush past him. Lindelof can do that on cover the way he has been. We'll switch these 2 back to the roles they've been doing today, so he can do that. And then that, to me, just seems like a sensible change to make at this point of the game. McTominay's not having the best of games, but we don't really have anyone else who can sit in front of the back four like that. Not that he can do it particularly well. This is where we probably should have kept Matic, because I understand Matic. Look at that. We can bring a world-class midfielder on for an elite midfielder. And there were some people questioning my signings yesterday, but we have a corner here. And it would be very pleasant if we could go 3-0 up at this point. And Rashford heads just over. I think we probably deserve a little bit of praise. We are playing really rather well. Let's have a little look at fitness levels. I'm going to take Martial off, bring Greenwood on. Just continue pushing the development of Mason Greenwood. You know what? On that basis, I'm going to bring on James as well. Both of them, similar to McTominay, have been excellent in those couple of matches we've played in other competitions. So let's do Manchester United properly and develop youngsters and get them in the team. Goretzka's picked up a knock, but it doesn't matter for today. Obviously, it can be an issue going forward, but we've absolutely dominated Tottenham there, and that has been our best performance of the season by a long, long way. Goretzka's just out for a couple of days. Pogba was excellent, and look at the season Paul Pogba's having so far. Paul Pogba's a good player, apparently. Who knew? Right, let's rest up for a day or two and then go and play Braga, where you're going to see a lot more of the kids. We're going to do a lot of rotation for that game and play some of these youngsters that we're trying to develop. Got my monthly manager performance for you. I don't know if I'm going to show you these all the time, but at the moment the novelty is still there. They're new and shiny and fun. In other news, Paul Pogba just won Premier League Player of the Month, which is the notable highlight. The board are happy with Paul Pogba's recent performances. I'm getting the best out of Pogba, which is obviously a big thing as a Manchester United manager. They're happy with the dressing room atmosphere and they're pleased with the quality of pressing. I don't know that we're doing a lot of pressing with our tiki-taka. Maybe we are. They still don't like the fact that Manu Matic left, and also the draws were problematic. We know the draws are problematic, but they're happy with the tactics, happy with the squad, reasonably happy with the transfers. Matches, we're still only on a C for matches, which I guess that's because we had those couple of iffy results. If we continue in the form we're in now, I'm sure we'll move up from that C for matches next month. Now we really will go and play Braga. So, as promised, we get some rotation for the Braga game. Then Romero comes in goal. Shaw comes in at left back. Pereira in for Pogba in midfield. And a slight tweak to tactical instruction to have him as the advanced playmaker, which is pretty much the only thing he can do in central midfield. But he's pretty good at it, as we've seen, or as I've seen previously. James comes in on the left-hand side. Mata behind the striker, who is Greenwood. And Lingard comes in on the right-hand side. So a complete change to the front five. Effectively, McTominay keeps his place, as do the back two and right back, who, I mean, I'm pretty settled on my defence at this point. It's really just Shaw and Gaia battling it out for that left back position, but I think we all know who's going to win that battle. The one I signed. So I'm pretty much sorted at that. To be honest, I'm pretty much comfortable that I know who my best players are in every position now, which is good. 10 games in or whatever we are, and the focus on these European games, obviously we do need to be winning them, because what a goal from Mason Greenwood. Just forget talking for a minute, Kev. Let's just have a look at this from the other angle. A 30-yard wonder goal free kick from Greenwood. That lad's 17 years old and he's our top scorer. What I was saying is, as well as winning these games, because we need to get to the final for the Club Vision, the big goal for both this and the Carabao Cup, and probably the FA Cup as well, maybe to a slightly lesser extent, because we're not going to win the Premier League this year, so it would be perhaps nice to try and win the FA Cup. But we want to be really getting some game time into the youngsters, into the likes of Pereira and James and Greenwood, and get as much game time into them as we possibly can, just to give them the opportunity to step up and become our future stars. Because I'm, at the moment, still pretty sure my next target is to sign a striker. But if Greenwood keeps doing things like that and really forces his way into this team and keeps scoring goals, why would I replace him? He's a wonder kid English striker who's scoring goals, and he's only going to get better with his 5-star potential. So if he decides to come good as early as this season, as early as now, then we'll just write off Martial and Rashford and go with youth. I am happy with your performance. Keep it going. Once again, we're utterly dominating possession, 65% of the possession. Braga are getting a few more shots than most teams have been getting against us recently, but we are absolutely dominating the game, and we just need another goal or two to make it a little bit more comfortable. Wan-Bissaka now, poor pass, looking for Lingard. Luckily, there's nobody really attacking for Braga, and Lindelof is able to play it back to Wan-Bissaka, who finds Lingard out wide to Shaw, who's on the overlap. There's plenty of options in the middle for Shaw to cross to. Instead, he cuts it back to James, and that's a lovely goal. Shaw taking his time, picking the right pass. He did really well there, Luke Shaw, and found Daniel James, who scores his second goal of the season. And once again, similar to Greenwood, you give Daniel James an opportunity to come in and impress, and every time he's had that opportunity so far, he's impressed. And he's done it again just there with a lovely goal. And it's 2-0 to Manchester United on 52 minutes. And the only disappointment in this team at the moment is Juan Mata, who, let's be realistic, if we could have got rid of him in the summer, we would have done. Andreas now plays it forward to Lingard. Lingard trying to do some... I mean, Lingard's been quite disappointing as well. He's probably another one who we need to move on. Lindelof looking to play it forward to Lingard, but it can't quite get there. And McTominay has just let a guy run past him in midfield. I thought the point of McTominay was to not let that happen. But they've got the opportunity for a little bit of an attack here, and it might be time to switch things up to our counter-attacking system again, because Braga seem to have gone up a gear in the last minute or two as they try and find a way back into this game. But it's Lingard with the chance to break down the right-hand side, looking to take on his man. He does, plays it into Greenwood, and it's offside. I think that's a little bit close. I want to see the replay for this one, because he didn't look offside from my angle, but look at it from here. Oh, my word. That was close. Not a lot I can do about it. I can't really argue, but I want to, because I feel like that should have been a goal. And at 3-0, I think we're done then. We don't need to worry anymore. Lingard intercepts. Lovely bit of pressing from Lingard. Terrible cross from Lingard. The commentary at the bottom says it was brilliant. The interception was really good. I like the pressing play. He did well to get the ball back. What he then did with it was just really, really poor. And Braga have got an opportunity again here, and they shoot from the edge of the area, and luckily comes to nothing. I think that's kind of sums up how their attacks have been. They're not getting very much of the ball. They get the odd counter-attack. We cover them quite well, and they end up shooting from range and missing. Right, we're going to take off Mata. I'm actually going to bring on POGBA and just see how he plays in behind in that position there. Just because we have got Goretzka and McTominay, and certainly for bigger games, there is an argument for going with McTominay, Goretzka, and then POGBA in this position, seeing what you can do from a little bit further forward. So we'll bring him on there for now. Lingard is also going to come off, and I am going to bring on, I'm going to bring on Martial, and I'm going to give him the opportunity to play out on the wing, which he's not actually had this season. Every time he's played up front. So let's give him the opportunity out there as the inside forward for 20 minutes to say, look, okay, I'll hold my hands up. I'm not a striker after all, but I'm a really good inside forward. Give me the opportunity there. James with another opportunity, and it's saved by the Braga keeper, but we did well. We're still creating stuff. This is still positive. And then for a final change, let's have a look at some fitness levels. McTominay has played all of the last two. We don't have anyone to come on for him, though, so he's just going to have to stay on. Really, the only players... There's no real benefit to bringing Gaia on. Diego Dalot can come on for 10 minutes, playing at right back. Wan-Bissaka's pretty much been ever-present throughout the entirety of every match so far. So let's have a look at his understudy, whose name I can't really say properly. And Greenwood has got his 5th goal of the season. Mason Greenwood is a good striker. That's what you want. If you're managing Manchester United in the beta, or if you want to, and you want to buy the game using my link. But if you are managing Manchester United in the beta and you're not giving Mason Greenwood game time, have a word with yourself, because look at the state of this. Mason Greenwood equals goal scorer. That's what we're learning from this beta save so far. And he was the top scorer at the start of the episode. He's now scored another couple of goals. So he's even more of the top scorer than he was before. James looking to play the ball across for, I think he was looking for Martial. Shaw ends up charging out of position to try and get there ahead of him. They both end up missing it. And then they just cut him behind Shaw, who's really out of position. This was just poor from everybody. It's a poor pass from James. Why those two have done what they've done there. Shaw's charged on. Martial's not come back to cover or gone to try and meet the ball. And it's just a bit of a mess from everyone involved. Martial hasn't really done himself any favours to convince me that he's a winger there. He looked like a striker playing on the wing. But ultimately, we've made changes. We've brought in some of the youngsters and we've won another match, which is excellent. But the most excellent thing of all is this man. Already a 3-star striker, so already as good as Martial. He's going to be our starting striker by Christmas in the Premier League. We are going to be trying to win the Premier League title with Mason Greenwood as our striker. Oh, he is 18 now, in fact, as well. There you go. So now he's 18. He can get in the team. Right. We're going to play a bunch more games before tomorrow's video. I think the sensible place to come back is probably Manchester City. Rather than showing you more Europa League games, we'll perhaps do Villa and City, because that gets us another 5-6 Premier League games under our belts. And then we'll hopefully be in a title race at that point. That would be lovely if we are. I don't want to get ahead of myself. We're not trying to win the league this year. But imagine going to City and still being unbeaten and very much in the title mix. That would be delicious. And that's hopefully what we're going to be doing tomorrow. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Like I said at the start, it is the best way you can support these videos, this channel, early on in the series. So a thumbs up would be massively appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and make sure you get those notifications on for daily FM20 videos. And thank you very much for watching.